Alan Robinson, Mark Kaboly, I'm Justin LeBar. We're outside here in the cold Pittsburgh weather, getting ready for Green Bay as the Packers up against the Steelers this weekend. A 6-8 Steelers still not done. Still got a little bit of life left in them. And I'll turn to you, Mark Kaboly. They're playing, obviously, the Green Bay Packers to win. You play to win the game. You're playing, I guess, still for playoffs, and you're playing for contracts, right?
Yeah, we hear a lot about these professional athletes saying they need to put it on tape. So that's why they don't give up. That's why they want to play all the time. And you look, going into this last two games, you might think it might not mean. By the time they get on the field on Sunday, they could be eliminated. It depends on the 1 o'clock game. But there's still a lot to play for a handful of guys. You're looking at guys like Ziggy Hood. You're looking at guys like Jason Worlds, Emmanuel Sanders, Ryan Clark. These are all guys that might not be around next year, but they can make a paycheck by putting it on tape these last 2 weeks. So that's a huge motivating factor. And when you think about it, Ziggy Hood finally getting a chance to come back, he was #1 pick. He didn't play very well over his 4 years here, so he has a chance to show that he could be a part of this team, part of this solution. Same with some of the other guys. So while it might not look like it's very meaningful to us as a 6-8 game, it's very meaningful, especially to a guy like Jason Worlds. He's making a ton of money for himself. All of a sudden, all the cards are in Jason Worlds' back pocket now. It wasn't like that six weeks ago. So this game means a lot to a lot of people in that field, just not the superstars.
Well, a meaningful game for a lot of individuals, and Alan, a meaningful play that's been the topic of conversation here, both here at the South Side and around the NFL, was, of course, Terrence Garvin's hit on the Bengals punter, and a lot of conversation about the rules with defensive players and the judgment call that he made.
Yeah, if you want to know why players want to go all out no matter what the circumstances or the record are, just look at Kevin Huber. I mean, they're playing these games at a very high speed, and you can get hurt. What I think what's interesting about this whole Terrence Garvin thing is, I don't think a lot of fans realize that there was a rule like this, where the kicker and the punter are protected on every play, even when they're going down to make a tackle. If 275-pound Sebastian Janikowski is trying to come down and make a tackle on a play, you can only hit him basically below here. You can't hit him in the head, chest, or neck with your shoulder, your forearm, or your helmet. I don't think fans knew that. Basically, these guys are out there playing football, but they're not football players.
Do you agree with it?
Well, I mean, that's the rules. It's obvious the NFL is trying to take a lot of steps to eliminate concussions. There's a higher concussion rate. I think it's almost 60% higher concussion rate on special teams, on kick returns and punt returns than there are in any other play. And they're obviously trying to protect these guys because most of these guys really aren't athletes. They're kickers. Right. Like Lee Trevino once said, I'm not a golfer. I'm not an athlete. I'm a golfer. But the point is, these guys are out there trying to make a play. Kevin Huber was trying to get in Antonio Brown's way. I think what the players that I talked to today, what they're saying is, what's Terrence Garvin supposed to do? Right. They don't, you're supposed to recognize that these guys are punters and kickers and they're protected. What are you supposed to do? You can't. The players only see the white jersey or the black jersey or the blue jersey. They don't see what the guy's number is. And Kevin Huber was wearing 10, which is a wide receiver's number. How we're supposed to memorize? What these guys are supposed to memorize these guys' rosters before the game?
I was going to say, I agree with the spirit of the rule. You need to protect some of these guys that can't protect themselves. But when they're in the mix of it, when he's at the 50-yard line, I think all bets are off. This might be amended in some way in the offseason, Justin.
Well, I was going to say, at what point do you say, Mark? I mean, you're on a football field. So at what point do you say, if you're a kicker or a punter, you kick the ball and you run to the sideline?
How many times do we see, though, that some guy, bigger guy, targeted a little guy for no reason whatsoever? I think that was the spirit of the rule. This is not the spirit of the rule. He's trying to make a tackle. You see Sean Swisham in there making tackles a lot, too. So I think that it's not how the rule should be applied. I think the refs made it the right call. That's not going to do Terrence Garvin any good.
Yeah, hey, Justin, something else we used to see too. You used to see sometimes punters and kickers actually run off the field after
That's what I mean.
Because they wanted to get out of the play as soon as they could.
At what point does that just become become the standard all across? All right, Packers versus Steelers. What do you got?
Was this the Super Bowl from 3 years ago? This is only the second time the Steelers have played the Packers in Green Bay since 1995, by the way, which Christmas Eve game. I think the Packers win by 6. I think it'll be a closer game than people think. I don't think the quarterbacking situation is very good with Matt Flynn. You're not going to see Aaron Rodgers. I think the Steelers actually do have something to play for. They don't want to be the first sub-500 Steeler team in 10 years, but I still think the Packers have more to play for. They can actually still win the division.
Of course, Ben Roethlisberger doesn't want that either.
No. Justin, I have absolutely zero clue. This team has absolutely baffled me week in, week out. I'll flip a coin and it'll come down as just because they played so well last week, the Steelers are going to get killed this week. I don't know. Don't take my word for it. I have no clue.
Follow him on Twitter, and you can see what other words you can take for whatever they are worth. Mark Kaboly, Alan Robinson.
He's defenseless.
Check him out, triplive.com, Triple I Radio. And if you're running to Alan Robinson, don't be a defenseless reader. That's going to do it. We'll be back next week.